Looking for accelerated career growth? Apply for open consulting roles at Palmtree today. Palmtree is a consulting firm with a private equity mindset. The firm focuses exclusively on M&A and the private equity investment lifecycle, helping clients maximize value while increasing bandwidth to source deals and raise capital. At Palmtree, you'll work with seasoned veterans from investment banking, consulting, Big Four accounting, and private equity. In addition, you'll learn the ins and outs of private equity and M&A advisory by working closely with the firm's senior leadership. Palmtree provides a unique opportunity to break into the M&A industry and experience accelerated career growth. The firm's elite leadership team is led by professionals who have worked in private equity, investment banking, Big Four accounting, strategy consulting at MBB, and corporate finance. The sky is truly the limit at Palmtree. Ready to love your work again? Learn more about Palmtree, see open roles, and apply today on the careers page at palmtreellc.com or click the link in the show notes.
Welcome back to Strategy Simplified. We're in the middle of a series of discussions on the fit interview. In these short episodes, we're walking through the highlights of Management Consulted's top teaching notes on consulting behavioral interview prep. I hope you joined us for our first discussion on Walk Me Through Your Resume, arguably the most important question to prepare for and the most likely one that you're going to get. But there are a few other predictable questions that you should be prepared for as well. That's what we're going to walk through today. I hope you enjoy the discussion. In consulting interviews, there's 3 more what we'll call predictable questions that you should absolutely be prepared for. So in today's episode, we're going to walk through the why consulting question, why the firm, and where do you think you'll be in 5 or 10 years? So first, let's jump into why consulting. This question's trying to get to the root of your understanding of the role and, your interpretation of why it makes sense for you to move forward in this direction with your career. So it demonstrates that you know the role, that you'd like the role. You can do this best by telling a story to help the interviewer understand either when you first realized that consulting seemed like a good fit for you, or when you kind of first learned about consulting in general. It is a fair approach to kind of give one main reason, or to layer out a list of 3 numbered reasons why you're interested in consulting. But I'll tell you what, when you give a numbered, structured list of 3 reasons why you're interested in consulting, your answer sounds the same as everybody else's answer. Remember that this question, as well as the other questions we're going to be talking through today, need to be told in a 1-minute answer. I need a structured, prepared, straightforward 1-minute answer to tell this story and to stay on pace with the schedule of my fit interview. So I can't get into a lot of detail. When I go through a 3-set numbered structured list, many times it sounds like, well, there's 3 good reasons that I want to get into consulting. Number 1, I'm really interested in working on challenging, thought-provoking problems. Number 2, I want to work in an environment with a team that's collaborative. And number 3, I really want to work on kind of high impact area. Or something like that, right? You expand that out just briefly and you're already at a minute. And there's not a lot of personalization or customization that tends to happen when you use that approach. However, you can have ultimate personalization and customization, and I can truly learn something about you and get to know you better through your answer here if you tell me a story. Tell me a brief story on why consulting is the best next step for you. What's a moment in your past where you first learned of consulting, or what's something analogous that you believe is analogous to some element of consulting, whether it's the project-based teamwork or convincing multiple stakeholders to move forward and align, or some type of client services environment, or yes, working on challenging problems or working in an area that has high impact. What's an example of one of those great reasons that you can actually expand on for a few moments here with me? It makes for a more compelling answer for you to draw me into your own personal narrative story here. Now, secondly, you should be prepared for the "why do you want to work here?" question. This is definitely a different question than why consulting. This demonstrates that you know the company, and it shows that you've done some legwork to understand a little bit about their people, their culture, their values. Again, we believe the best way to answer this question as well is through a story. A 1-minute story that makes one or two main points about why you think you would be a great fit for this firm, why this firm's really attractive to you. Now, this is the one question in your behavioral interview prep that you're going to have to strongly customize from individual firm to next individual firm that you're interviewing for. Firms can see through a generic answer here a mile away. I really, truly want to hear in this answer that you understand something about who we are as an organization, as a firm, the way that we look at the world, and how much we want to solve our clients' problems, and how we do that through our mission and vision and values, etc. So in telling a story here, there's a couple of things we can think of. We can think of, telling a story around what we've learned from the people that we've talked to in our networking process. Telling a story about a colleague or a friend who has worked at that firm and the experiences that they've shared with you that they've had. You can tell more of a thematic story of, as you have researched on their website and also talked to individuals, how you've been impressed about what you found on a particular way that they look at the world or their work, a particular initiative that they have, a certain affinity group. We don't want to be overly specific and too narrow in these answers, but we do want to speak to actual examples of things that you know about this company. Feel free to name drop here the people that you spoke to, that you learned from, who are able to speak to their own personal experience and how you really started to better understand the inner workings of the firm, the way that it's organized, the way that they treat their people, the way that they treat their clients and move through their project work, etc. This question is also a great place for you to be able to incorporate language that the firm uses itself in terms of what types of candidates they want to attract. Whether it's in the job description or the general section of their careers page, every firm has established language on what type of employees they're trying to bring into their company. So you should take close notes on who the firm says it wants and the way that they describe those candidates. And you should leverage some of that language that is authentically you. That type of answer also shows me that you've done your homework, that you understand what type of candidates we're looking for, and that you self-identify as being that type of candidate. I am likely to follow up with additional customized behavioral questions to be able to press more into some of those qualities or capabilities or skills that you're going to say in this answer that you embody and have. But this is a great starting point for me to hear from you that you think that you're the kind of person that we're looking for. You know who we're looking for, and you match those qualities.
We'll be right back after this quick message. Maximize your chances of landing a top 10 consulting offer by joining Black Belt, Management Consultant's premium case prep program. In Black Belt, you receive one-on-one mentorship and prep support from a former McKinsey, Bain, or BCG consultant like the one you're hearing from today. Your coach will develop a personalized plan for you and guide you through drill-based coaching sessions. Black Belt also includes expert resume and cover letter edits, because case prep is only so good if you don't get the interview. 80% of Black Belts land offers, which is why it's the world's most effective consulting prep program. If you're ready to quit wasting time in your prep process, join today. Learn more and register at the link in this episode's show notes. Now, let's get back to the show.
The final predictable question that we need to be prepared for is the future-oriented one. Where do you see yourself in 5 or 10 years? This is important because it demonstrates that you know yourself, that you know that you have various options, and that you can provide some insight into where you think you may be, even though you don't know that with any certainty, which is natural and normal. We think that the best way to answer this question is to lay out a short list, a list of 3 things that you believe that you could be doing, things that are hopeful, optimistic, but none of them definitive. We'll give you even a little bit of a prescription on what you could include in that list of 3. Certainly one of your 3 could be that you're still in consulting. But they shouldn't all just be that you're in consulting. Or we can't really lean in and say with certainty that, oh, well, in 5 or 10 years, I mean, by then I'll be a partner, right? Unless you are already currently in consulting and continuing to just move over into a new role, move over into a new firm, you know what's involved in the role, you know what's ahead of you. If you have that assurance and you say, you know what, I've really already tested out this space and I continue to be excited about it. So in the next 5 to 10 years, to be honest, I still consider myself to probably be in that space. I'll probably still be in consulting. That's a reasonable answer if you have some type of evidence base to base it on. But anybody just pivoting into or starting consulting for the first time, it doesn't seem rational and reasonable to, declaratively state to me, well, yeah, I'm going to be in consulting in 5 or 10 years. It can be an option of a menu list of other things that you imagine for yourself as well. So the second one in your list of 3 may be, what do you anticipate? What could you project as for you being the next step after consulting? There's nothing wrong or bad in projecting a future beyond consulting. Consulting is a human capital business. It's a pyramid. Firms like to bring in people at the bottom of the pyramid in entry-level roles. Pre-MBA roles, post-MBA roles, associate, analyst. You're not expecting everybody to stay around forever. It's a pyramid. Not everybody stays around forever. You ultimately decide and get promoted to move up into a role of greater seniority and greater responsibility, or you decide to leave the firm. Yes, some people get fired, but that's very rare. Usually people self-select out of the firm at one point or another. And so it's not commonplace for every entry-level consultant to stay through and become a lifer in consulting. What do you imagine for yourself as being a possible next step? Maybe there's a specific industry that you're really passionate about. Maybe there's a functional area that you're hoping to get specialty in and move into. What's something that you could imagine for yourself? And the third option here, have that be something passion-driven or hobby-driven or something maybe even a little bit wild. Again, they should all make sense based on what you have shared with me so far and what you can share with me in the context of this 1-minute answer. But I'm quickly running through a set of possible options to be able to give just a little bit more context on some of the places I could see myself in 5 to 10 years. It's not definitive. Nobody can really extrapolate and project out. But yeah, I could see myself in consulting. I also see myself post-consulting, perhaps being interested in moving into blank. And, maybe if I'm lucky, or, something I've always been interested in is hobby. I would love to find an opportunity at some point in my life to make a living off of that. And again, from this type of answer and this story-driven approach, I get to learn more about you. I perhaps get to find some even common areas of interest across a story-driven question. And it could help drive to a discussion with my interviewer and not something that feels like a test or exam. I want to move through these questions in an authentic, congruent, lighthearted way where the interviewer is getting to learn more about who I am, some of my key and core experiences, and the way that I'm thinking about this recruiting journey. Thanks for joining us today. Fit interview practice is important, and you really shouldn't wait until the very end to do it, and you shouldn't let it completely be overshadowed by your case practice. So if you'd like some help in this area, if you want informed feedback and instruction on how to improve, you could work with one of our coaches. They can always layer in fit questions to case interview prep sessions, or work with you in dedicated fit interview prep discussions, either in 30 or 60-minute sections. Check out the link in the show notes to learn more, and we'll see you next time.